Why, hello, everybody. It's time and actually overdue for Daily Berg. Oh, man. I'm really thankful that I get to do this. I think that I don't remind myself of that often enough. That I'm honored that y'all give any kind of time to watching these or listening to them, and just thanks. Holy Spirit, what do you want to talk about today? Oh, man. Excuse the yawn. Jesus. If you knew that your words mattered, that how you spoke to people and the content of that speech, if that actually really changed things for them, how would you conduct yourself? How would you spend time with people? Maybe differently. How would you look at the world around you in terms of value? How would you want to spend your time? One of the things that I'm learning and, in struggling with at different points is how big of an impact or not my words make, and therefore how much time I give to them, what degree of import I esteem them with, and therefore how deep I let it run, how deep I let it affect my mindset. And I think part of the struggle that we have is that most of us are now so used to people paying attention to us over things that don't necessarily matter, but not paying attention to us when there's weight involved. Not physical weight, not necessarily, just when there's depth or import to the subject matter. I think a lot of the time we don't give ourselves esteem enough to trust that people will pay attention to what's going on with us. And it doesn't need to be like that. We could just believe that we have enough value that, if we feel like we need to share our hearts on something, we just do it. Not in the sense of at the disregard or discount of anyone else around us, but in the sense of, cosmically there's a societal idea that because, if God doesn't exist, for instance, or if evolution is entirely inherently true, then there's very little import to existence in the idea of self, and therefore self-awareness, and therefore personal ideas or philosophy, etc. Because in the end of it, it's just going to be, sun exploding and heat death of the universe and all the rest of it. And if that's the case, then existential nihilism would suggest to us that there's no real purpose to communication. And whether or not we decide that that's true, a lot of us buy into the idea that what we believe or what we have to say doesn't matter. And that's not true. There have been a few times, I say a few, I'm not sure of the number, and I should remember it because it's very important, but my brain doesn't hold information the same way across the board. There have been times where, I'm randomly calling somebody, or, they popped into my head, so I wrote them a note on Facebook, or, this, that, or the other. And it turns out that something super heavy and really important was going on with them and with their hearts and minds, and that because I got a hold of them and spoke life into them, in some cases real not great decisions are averted, and in other cases it's more just that people are having a bad day, and I got to turn around because something popped into my head, or in my personal belief, Holy Spirit dropped somebody in my head and put love in me for them, and I reached out in the ways that I could to love on them. And it makes a difference. You know, not everybody needs to be diving into like the huge task of correcting society, or maybe a better phrase would be reinterpreting society. You know, like crew such as Jordan Peterson or Stephen Hicks, or I mean, like on the more direct believer side, guys like Todd White or Bill Johnson. I think a lot of times we try and make our role in life, we wonder why it's not bigger, because we see guys like that and the impact that they're having and feel like we need to do the same or similar. But I think a lot of the time what we actually need to do is just love the people we're near really well and speak truth and learn and grow. So obviously still watch Jordan, still watch Stephen Hicks, still watch Todd White and Dan Mohler and all those guys. But understand that your responsibility, is not necessarily to be a Joseph partnering with Pharaoh to make sure that a nation stays fed, so much as your role is that of Israel, needing to steward his fathership and sonship of his children well, and making sure that he honors them so that there's not confusion amongst the ranks and so on and so forth. Now, that isn't to say in his case that he could have averted his son's jealousy over Joseph. But what if he prepped them to understand what legacy looked like, and that roles were different, and that not everybody needs to have equal outcome? I don't know. Might have been different. In any case, your words have value, and I feel like that's what Holy Spirit wanted to highlight today. So even if it's something small, you're just telling your spouse, hey, I love you and you matter. I'm honored to be married to you. Or if you're spending time writing the new book or the new philosophical paper that illustrates everything, and it helps people understand what truth is more, whatever it is, just do it well, and understand that it's valuable, and in giving it value you'll see the value of it increase for other people. And honestly, if you give the task value, you'll work harder at it too. All right, guys. Warmth, love, you're amazing, and we'll see you in the next video.